Nobody talks about how the pressure gets when you start approaching 30. You know, I didn't suddenly wake up one day wanting marriage or wanting kids just because I'm approaching 30. What actually changed was the noise around me. It's like suddenly everyone has opinions about when to get married, how to get married, who to choose, where to go. Suddenly people are asking you questions that they normally wouldn't ask you, something that they never used to ask. They start asking you questions like that. And even when they don't say anything, you can feel it. The pressure around you, the change in the atmosphere. You can feel that there's something that they are not actually uttering, but they're giving you indirect signals towards what they have in their mind. And I wanted to talk about that today. Honestly, calmly, with no drama. I promise, no drama. Because I know I'm not the only one feeling this. I can't be the only one feeling this. I honestly believe that I'm not the only one feeling this. I think the first time I started noticing this pressure, and honestly, it wasn't anything big at the time because I had so much more that I was focused on. I think it was back in uni. I can confidently say that from my first year to my final year in uni, 80 to 85% of the ladies that were my friends or my classmates got hitched. They got married, most of them already having kids in school. And yeah, as much as I was cramped up with schoolwork, I wouldn't say I didn't notice it. But you know, that time, you know, I was still younger, had, you know, all that was on my mind was how to bag that BSc. I wasn't concerned with any other thing. And at that point, like, I feel like if you had come to me with marriage or even like the thought of having kids, I would ask you if you were okay or if something was wrong with you. I couldn't help but just wonder sometimes, like, could this be a right move as well? I mean, the earlier the better, so they say. Catch them when they're young. Some other times it will come as a joke. When is it going to be your turn? And they just go ahead laughing as if no, they've not said anything. And what would I do too? I would join them and laugh, because what else would I do at that point if not laugh? Will I start crying? I won't cry, so I'll just join them and laugh as well. But later, you see, when you are alone in your own thought, when the world goes quiet and it's just you with thoughts in your head, that question, that joke suddenly sits with you. And it's not because you suddenly want to be married or you suddenly want to have kids there and then. It's because you start feeling like maybe you're missing something or maybe you are late. You can't just help but think, like I said, catch them when they're young. You can't just help but just think like, am I missing something? Am I different? Like, people are meeting this man, they're proposing to them, they're getting engaged, they're getting married, they're having kids. You start asking yourself, am I really late? Because I would have thought that, you know, this is something that we do when we are done with school and everything, but now people are doing it in school. Did something change? Did I miss the memo? You start thinking if you're behind without even realizing it. And that, my dear, is how the pressure starts. Quietly, not loudly. It shows up at weddings when everyone is excited, jubilating, celebrating love, and you know deep down that you're genuinely happy for them. You're very happy for whoever is getting married. Could be your friend or family member. You're genuinely happy. But then there's this small part of you that starts to compare timelines. This person, I'm older than her, but somehow she's getting married before me. This person, we're age mates, but somehow she's getting married before me. What's going on? You start having all these thoughts. You start giving yourself unnecessary timelines, funny timelines that you don't even know how you came about those timelines. You see this pressure. It will show up in family gatherings as well. You see, when you're having casual conversations and then somehow, suddenly, you don't even know how come, but this conversation circles back to your relationship status. They start asking you, anything new? We've not heard from you. Is there any man at the corner? Are you keeping something from us? Is there anybody coming to come and knock on the door soon? Also questions like that. You start seeing those aunties. They start asking you, what's your age? How old are you now? You think they just want to know your age? They just care. No, they're throwing you subtle jabs, like indirect jabs. They're trying to see if you're going to catch the sub. It's these subtle comments that actually get us to start feeling pressurized. You don't know for certain when it starts. It just takes one very little moment for you to actually pause and say, wait, am I doing something wrong? Like, hold up, what is the problem? Is there something going on with me? This pressure, it will also show up when you are just randomly scrolling. If I open my Instagram now, I think 70 to 80% of posts are either proposals, either weddings, be it traditional, court, white wedding, baby showers, people showing off house keys. And you know, the funny thing is that even if you are content with where you are, there is just this tiny voice in your head that just keeps asking you, should I be further along by now? I think I'm not supposed to be where I am right now. Should I be further ahead? It's not like you're not doing well, though. It's not like you're not doing well at all. You are doing absolutely well. You are content, you're paying your bills, you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. You know, you are just where you should be in life. But because of all this pressure, all the subtle pressures here and there, you will be forced to start having that tiny voice in your head head asking you, should you be far along now in life? And you see this thing, one day you are fine, you're confident, you're grounded, you're going about doing your thing, no issues, no pressure. And the next day, boom, you're questioning everything. You're questioning all your choices. You're questioning all your timelines. You're questioning where you are in life. You're questioning if you're progressing. You're questioning if you're moving forward. You're questioning why you're stagnant. You're questioning a lot of things. There are 1 billion voices in your head questioning every single thing, every single move you've made, everything that has led you, every channel that has led you to where you are. You start questioning every single thing. That back and forth is the most exhausting thing ever. Trust me, I know about it. What makes it harder is that internal conflict. Because on one hand, you know yourself, you know you're growing, you know you're healing, you know you're becoming, you know that rushing big decisions just because of a particular timeline doesn't feel right. But on the other hand, you don't want to look back thinking that you've waited for so long. You don't want to disappoint anyone. Parents calling to ask, when will you give me grandchildren? Or is it when I die that I will carry my grandchildren? Or my mates are always talking about how they're going to visit their daughters and their, in their husband's houses, and how, they met their grandkids and how they spend time with their grandkids. But why are my own grandkids? You don't want to be a disappointment to your parents or people that are looking up to you. And at the same time, you don't want to make the wrong choice because it's everywhere. The rate of divorces, the rate of separations are alarming. The statistics are there. So you just don't want to make the wrong choice as well. So what happens? You then start doubting decisions that you were once at peace with. And that, my dear, is the part that no one talks about. See, I've noticed how this pressure affects confidence in very sneaky ways. You think you're a very confident lady, and you don't just think, you know you are that shit. Confident, grounded, your left from your right. Like, no one is going to tell you otherwise. But you see this pressure, it would test your confidence levels in very sneaky ways that you might not even realize if you're not careful. It would make you question your instincts. It would make you second guess your pace. It will make you feel like calm means complacency. Sometimes I catch myself wondering, am I actually okay with where I am, or am I just avoiding something? Am I fully okay with where I am? That pressure never makes you ask yourself gentle questions. It interrogates you. It doesn't ask nicely. You see, what I've learned and what I'm still learning is that marriage and motherhood are beautiful things. Honestly, whenever I'm scrolling through, social media, I come across this proposal post and my wedding post and everything. I am just filled with admiration. The beauty, the elegance, the class, the time, the energy, the love in the air. You can feel it through the screens while watching. So yes, I truly appreciate motherhood and marriage in general. And they're quite beautiful things, truly. This whole thing is not about rejecting them or saying that I'm an antagonist. Never. I want to get married. I want to have a beautiful family. I want to have beautiful kids. Okay, so this is not just saying I'm not interested. Has nothing to do with that at all. But what I'm learning is to reject that these two things are deadlines or have deadlines. Marriage, motherhood, they don't have deadlines. There is nowhere it's written that if by this time you're not married, you're going to have a heart attack, or you're just going to, even when it comes to childbearing, I know that with age, there are some challenges, but there are other options available as well for you if that's where we want to go to. But that's not what this video is about, so I wouldn't dwell on it. Somehow, age has become the measure for readiness, and that's very untrue because people feel like, oh, when you are a certain age, you are ready for marriage. But age has got nothing to do with marriage, because there are people that still get married at the so-called mature age and still end up making very horrible decisions and still end up getting divorced. So age has never been a yardstick or a criteria to show readiness for marriage. It's no longer about emotional safety. It's not about stability anymore. It's not about self-awareness. It's just a number, your age. And that definitely doesn't make any sense to me at all, because being ready doesn't suddenly arrive on your birthday. It's not because you've attained a new age then it means that yes, you're ready. You know what it entails. You're ready to walk that path. You're ready to go on that journey. It doesn't have anything to do with you acquiring or attaining a new age. I also think we don't talk enough about how different everyone's path is. Some people find their partners early. Some people spend years healing. Some people are still figuring out who they are as individuals, which of course is very important if you're going to start a new journey with another person. Some people want kids desperately. Some people aren't even sure of who they are, where they are, what they want from life. Some people don't even want them at all. But nobody asks these questions. Nobody is concerned about any of these aspects to life. People are bent on just seeing things from a particular angle. They don't want to be versatile in their thinking. And honestly, none of these parts are wrong. But when the society society only celebrates one version loudly, everyone else starts feeling like they're doing life incorrectly. And that's very heavy. That's just a lot of pressure. If this has ever crossed your mind, even briefly, I want you to know that you are not a strange person and it's not a strange thought for you to have. It doesn't mean you're lost. It doesn't mean you're failing. It doesn't even mean that you are late. I genuinely just wonder how many of us are going about carrying this pressure in our minds, in our hearts, in our day-to-day activities, smiling through it all, acting very unbothered, just going about our daily business while we're deep down questioning ourselves privately. That's a lot to deal with. That's a lot to carry around. So if this is something you've ever felt too, you're not alone. We are all in this together. Trust me. I don't have a solution. I don't have a 5-step plan. I'm not here to tell you what you should or shouldn't want. But one thing I'm learning slowly is this. Being at peace with your life doesn't mean that you're behind. Sometimes it just means that you're listening to yourself rather than the noise around. And that, chummy, really matters. I would really love to hear your thoughts on this. How has this pressure shown up for you, loudly or quietly? Whether you are 25, 30, or even beyond 30. You don't have to share everything, but if you feel comfortable enough at all, I would really, really love to hear your experience, chummy.